Let's start with he's back. Ronald Acuña Jr. last year was an MVP candidate until he went down with a torn ACL. About 10 months later, he's back in the big leagues. Returns yesterday, not just as a DH either, Jason. Stealing a couple bags, picks up his first knock of the season, and they won a World Series without him. And he's what, a top 5 player in the sport when healthy?
Still can't believe they won the World Series after he got hurt. We can talk about that in a minute, but I can't tell you how excited I was, guys, to see this player back in our sport. You know, if Joel were here, he'd figure out some basketball analogy. Is this like Steph Curry missing all that time 2 years ago and then coming back to the Warriors? It feels like it because it's not just what he means to the Braves, it's what he means to the sport. This is a guy who does things on a baseball field that we literally don't see other human beings do. It's the power, the speed, the glove, the arm, the smile,
the dancing,
joy,
you see all the personality.
So much of that, and the sport can't have enough of players like this in the field.
There's very few guys who transcend just being a great athlete to watch and somebody who's electric. And he's electric. And not only do we feel that as fans, and I remember as a player, I should pay to watch these guys make these plays that no other people in the world can make. But that impact on his teammates is invaluable. Yeah. Because, you know, they're sitting at 9-11 right now. You get him back. They won in spite of not having him last year. So the impact of having him back now has got to be astronomical for that locker room.
That's what makes the Braves so dangerous. I mean, like you mentioned, this was a team that last year, once he went down, you're like, it's not happening for Atlanta this year. They were 500-ish when he went down. Look, through July 10th, exactly a 500 ball club. And look at the numbers for the ball club. In addition to obviously playing much better in the win-loss category, the slugging percentage went up, the ERA went down, which he doesn't have a ton to do with, obviously. He plays defense and does it pretty well, but the offense really ticked up. A guy like Austin Riley in the second half was one of the best players in the sport. They made a million moves, which you could give a ton of credit to Alex Anthopoulos for, but we do forget that, I mean, him or Freddie Freeman, their best player on the team.
He was leading the league in wins above replacement when he went down. And I don't know about you, if I were going to draw up a formula for how to win a World Series, I wouldn't start with, all right, let's take the most valuable player in the sport, and we won't have him for 4 months. And the Braves, for them to do what they did was amazing. And so I got to thinking last fall, I can't imagine any team has ever won this way. So we tried to figure it out. We tried to find other players like this. And it was hard to do. Like, it's not like there were day-by-day war leaders in 1922. So this was the group. These were players who had a 4 wins above replacement, and then their team won the World Series. They didn't play, but do you see the equivalent of Ronald Acuña Jr. in that group? Because I don't.
No, only at the top. And it even goes against what we would say, you know, in the national TV world, Bob, of, oh, Acuña's down, forget about it, right? Every year, basically, you'll see a superstar on a team go down, and then you write them off. Whether you're saying they're not going to make the playoffs or this isn't a team that's going to go the distance. Ronald Acuña Jr. proved, not him, but the Braves, that you can actually win without your superstar if you build enough depth around it. They traded for 1 billion outfielders and were able to patch it together, more so patch it together, and become a force in just a different way.
The upstairs people in Atlanta were proactive, not reactive. They were in position to lose this stud and still continue. That is a credit to that organization. It's a lesson to other organizations that think your just hinges on one person, which it doesn't when you're playing 162, when you've got to hit, when you've got to run, when you've got to pitch. And you saw the pitching number drop a run.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, that's other people realizing we got to pick it up, let's keep going, rather than getting trapped in the, oh, well, we lost Billy, so let's just go home. It's a credit to the Braves organization. It really is.
But what's the impact on the star player who just watched his team win the World Series and he didn't get to go on that ride?
I think that's a beautiful thing. Why? Because, of course, he has a ring, but doesn't that give him a little personal chip? I want to win one as the guy. on the Atlanta Braves?
I'll vote yes on that.
Yes, I will too. So I love that. I cannot wait to see what he brings to the mix. They're going to ease him in a little bit, which makes sense. He comes back a little earlier than expected, so they'll give him days off, a little DH time as well. But welcome back, Ronald Acuña Jr.